Hello, good morning or good afternoon, whenever you're listening to this. Welcome. Hi, my name is Sarah Silverstein. This is Seville on Air. I'm a program manager here at CIEE Seville, and today I will be hosting this episode. Today's episode will feature two lovely students who are currently finishing up their spring semester here at CIEE Seville. It's kind of wild,
So
right?
crazy.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So they are participating on the International Business and Culture program here, which is a pretty established program. We've been basically offering this, obviously, during the spring semester, which is right now, but it's a fall and spring program, right? It could be, folks can participate in a year-round sort of situation. They can mix and match it with another program. But anyways, let's get to it. Today, our guests are Amruta Kelshiker.
Kelshikar.
Thank you so much, Kalshikar and Antonio Melendez. So I'm going to start with a little bit about both of our students here who are really, really kind for giving us their time to talk about their experiences here at CIE Seville. So Amrita is a third-year student in the Leeds School of Business at the University of Colorado Boulder. Go Boulder.
Scope off.
Yeah. Pursuing a Bachelor of Science in the Business Administration with dual emphasis in finance and management with a concentration in leadership. Awesome. She's originally from Aurora, Colorado, which is just an hour outside of Boulder. She's an active student on campus and is part of the Leeds Scholars Program, the professional business fraternity, Alpha Kappa Psi, and the club tennis team. In her spare time, Amrita channels her passion for tennis into coaching and mentoring young athletes at a nonprofit tennis facility in Denver called Denver Tennis Park. Let me know if you need anything else. That's a really kind note as well. Well, if we have any more questions, I will totally let you know. And our second guest today is Antonio Melendez. Hello.
Hello, how's it going?
It's well. We're excited to have you.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah. And Antonio is from Houston, Texas, although his family is from El Salvador. His mother still lives in Houston, where she's a middle school Spanish teacher and still gets to travel around the world to visit family. Antonio has two older brothers. His oldest brother, Oscar, lives at NYC and also went to a small liberal arts school in Philadelphia. I went to school in Pennsylvania.
Oh,
So, yeah, some affinity there. His middle brother, Andres, went to Johns Hopkins University and he lives in NYC as well. Antonio is a rising senior at Claremont McKenna College, a small liberal arts school in California, and he is an economics major with a leadership sequence. He's an active member on his college campus where he is a tour guide and a senior interviewer. These activities bring him great joy as he loves giving back to the community in whatever ways he can and is always looking forward to helping others. Antonio credits this to his high school, which taught him these important lessons while serving as a student tour guide and via participating in different community service events that focus on uplifting the community. What a lovely welcome. What great introductions. Wow. Thank you so much for being here again.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. And on that note, I think it's going to be amazing to give our listeners the opportunity to learn more about your individual experiences here. As I said at the beginning, this is we're kind of towards the end of the spring semester. I know it's tough.
So sad.
It is, isn't it? I hope it's been wonderful, and I'm excited to kind of get us chatting about what makes your CIE Seville so great. So, jumping into things, I'm curious if somebody could tell us a little bit about why the International Business and Culture program here in Seville with CIE. Maybe Ruta, you could start us out?
Yeah, for sure. So I think there's kind of like two layers to why I picked this program, and it started with just the location in general. I was so lost with where to go with study abroad because there's so many options and opportunities that you can take advantage of, and every place has its own special thing. But for me, I really wanted to be in touch with Spanish culture and really just have an an intimate experience almost with the city that I'm with. And I had heard one other person from Boulder pitch Sevilla to me at one point, and I was like, you know what? Shot in the dark, let's do it. Like, I'm gonna
Wow.
go and see what it's like. I don't know anyone else who's going. So then the next thing was finding a program that really aligned with kind of what I was looking for in a study abroad experience. And I saw that the IBC program had really great opportunities, just like doing outreach in the community. But also, I loved the idea of the 2-week intensive Spanish class because I really wanted to get into it. I hadn't taken Spanish since my junior year of high school. So I was super excited about that, but also connecting being like a business major with what I'm doing abroad, I thought would be really interesting. So I guess that's kind of why I ended up here.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the interesting aspect of IBC, International Business and Culture. Just going to put it out there because we will be saying IBC a bunch on this program, I'm sure. But this aspect that it's a program in English, but also at the same time, you really do have the opportunity to get back into the rhythm of language and also really immerse because Seville, while it is the fourth biggest city in Spain, wow, you really, 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 you have to utilize your Spanish language skills living here,
Absolutely.
right? So I think that that's really interesting. Thank you so much for sharing. And Antonio, what about you?
Yeah, absolutely. So I knew that I wanted to go to Spain to begin with because both of my brothers actually studied abroad in Spain. So I wanted to continue that tradition. And I knew that I wanted to be in south of Spain because I kind of wanted a smaller city and kind of just integrate with the culture. And IBC really, picked my interest because I get to, take my business classes out here, but also live with the host family. And that was a big part
Yeah,
of my experience because I really wanted to live with the host
yeah,
family, just to integrate with the culture even more, even though I'm fluent in Spanish, but also just learn like the different type of Spanish out here is different,
yes.
And so I sometimes like get confused when, why are you talking so fast? Like let's relax a little bit. But also like the words is different. And so it's just been an amazing experience and having the experience of taking my economic classes out here to make sure I graduate in time was a big, big part of me that I needed to come to Spain, Sevilla specifically, do the international business and culture.
Yeah, right. So a program that offers
Yeah,
your academic needs, right? This came up in both of your kind of intros a bit, right? So it's so important to really stay on track academically
100%.
and to really be engaged in your major, in your minor, in your concentration, and whatever it is. So I think it's fabulous that you were able to dive into the catalog of okay, what am I able to get onto my transcripts that works for me,
Yeah,
that sets me up to have a smooth sailing return to school or to continue on to the next part of school, whether it's graduation, so it could kind of be maybe you're a first semester senior and you're looking to really finish off some of the important core things that you need. But yeah, so academics totally, and then also this totally is again this aspect we're talking about immersion. It's true that in Spain, right? They're speaking Castellano and it's very regionally specific. And even in Seville, right? I'm sure you've probably picked up a bunch of local terms, right? You walking down the street and you hear something like "Quillo," right? You're like,
yeah,
hey, okay, right? So there's this the general Spain in Spanish with Castellano, and then there's also this really beautiful uh, local language dialect here in Andalusia, in Sevilla, also, right? It maybe
Yeah.
changes if you're in Granada, if you're in Cordoba. So that's awesome, and the host family also as well. Great
amazing.
opportunity to
Yeah,
immerse and really get to build like built in. It's kind of a built in opportunity at having a family here.
second family
Yeah,
out here.
second family, right? It's always different when each person is different, and each family and the relationship that you might leave with is different, right? But it really does offer you a kind of okay, you wake up and you're on. You're like, okay, well, I need to go to the kitchen. I need
Yeah.
to converse. I need to
Yeah,
kind of espabilar,
yeah, yeah.
So absolutely. And Amruta, where are you living here?
I live in a residencia close to the Beatty Stadium,
Awesome.
and there's only 5 other people in the IBC program,
Okay.
but I'm so grateful.
Yeah.
Like, and everyone who primarily lives there is Spanish speaking,
Yeah.
so it's fun because I, like, get to like, literally in the laundry room, like, I'll be learning laundry terms because 'cause I'm helping, like, a random man do laundry in there, but I am grateful because I've gotten to know the 5 people who live in my residencia
Yeah.
so well who are in the program and, like, oh, I love them,
Yeah.
like, so much, and it's just
Absolutely.
I wish sometimes that I would have done a homestay because I would have been more truly immersed, but I still, like, just make the most of it, and it's so fun living close to the Beatty Stadium because we hear
Absolutely.
the games and everyone is going crazy for the games, and we're all Beatty's fans, so
There we go. I mean,
That's a hot take.
I have to say, oh, it seems like we might have some division here. We might have some
Uh-oh.
Sevilla fans, we might have some Betis fans. I think I actually might have to keep that. I don't think I can say that on air just yet. No, I mean, I listen. Usually, when people ask me, I lived in A Coruña for a little bit. I say de por A Coruña. Keep it nice and neutral.
So
Um,
fair.
but it's really awesome. It's such a great location, being close to such a like important cultural spot in the
Yeah.
city. And there might be folks from other CIE programs who also live in Estanislao, which is the name of the residencia,
Yeah.
Mi Residencia also. But it's a different approach, right? So another thing that's different than the homestays and a residency is like just the mealtime.
Yeah.
right?
Oh yeah.
Right. When you're in a homestay, you're really sitting around the table with folks. You're really jumping in and diving in there, and then you're really getting into your own habit and routine of eating and going out for food or cooking for yourself, living
Yeah.
in a residence hall. So really different experiences, but the sense of
Yeah.
community that you're able to find there,
Yeah.
I'm really glad to hear it and that you're able
Yeah.
to connect.
No, and it's
That
great.
sense of bonding,
Yeah.
that smaller
And it's
group.
funny because like we'll eat dinner together sometimes, or
Yeah,
like we'll be like, let's go by the river and eat dinner together, like pack sandwiches. Like we get to do kind of our own
yeah,
like
absolutely.
flexibility, which is nice.
And that's it. There are lots of folks looking for different things. So I have to
Exactly.
say, it's also wonderful to hear that you were like, okay, I need to find these course specific boom, boom, boom. I would like to be in a city that's big, but just, just enough to get to know it very well and practice my Spanish. And all these combinations are just fabulous. And it makes sense that they led you to Seville, to Spain. And we're glad that you chose CIEE. So yeah, for anyone out there, these are great things to note. But yeah, so kind of moving along in our little interview here, I'm wondering if you could also tell me how your program and what you're learning as business majors, how you're able to kind of bring back the knowledge that you're gaining here in your classes, or even the life experiences that you're having here, living abroad. How are you going to bring those back to your lives at home, or how are you thinking, oh wow, these sorts of classes, this experience for me is inspiring me to move forward, and bring these things with me. You know what I mean? So thinking about how the classes apply
Yeah.
to like your major, how they're going to help you in the real world, and also how the experiences here are going to help you in the real world when you're maybe not in Spain anymore. Sad.
Yeah. I can
Yeah.
kick this one off. Um, so it's funny because I mentioned that it would be interesting to see because I'm a business major to it being in the IBC program. I'm not taking a single business class actually.
Oh,
Because my
that's great though.
yeah,
Sometimes we also have other classes that we need to take or that we're interested in.
exactly.
It's good to explore.
Yeah, my C Boulder, they like you to get non-business electives to, expand your horizons, try new things out. So that has been very interesting because I'm so not used to not looking at the numbers all day. But I don't know, it's just been like such a cool experience, like taking things that I are completely foreign to me. Like I'm taking sports psychology,
Wow.
which is great because I can apply it to like my tennis part of my life. And we're in a intercultural
Yeah.
communication course together. It's like the CIE
CIE.
program, yeah, with
Awesome. Yeah.
Rafa Vega. We love him. Such an interesting class, but I think it just opens up your perspective so much, like all of the classes,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
seeing how the Spanish view certain aspects or like view how to approach a conversation or view certain things is just not things that you might think of off the bat. And you might have like preconceived notions about how people are perceiving you. But it's just like very interesting to hear from Spanish people themselves, like, oh, here's what this means, or like here's this, or let me take you around. Like Rafa took us to a bunch of the churches during Semana Santa, and like he's like, this is why this is so
Unforgettable.
important. Like such a cool experience that I'll always remember. And I get to apply some of my business knowledge in some of my classes. Like the teacher would be like, who's good at stats? I'm like, me, or like I can do that. Or like, we start talking about capitalism or whatever it is. I'm like, I know a little bit about that because I've been doing it in school all the time. But it's like the intersection is there, but you wouldn't think of it off the bat, which is really interesting. So it's just been fun to tie them in together.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. And do you want to build off of anything? Share about
Yeah,
yourself?
I'm actually really fortunate because I'm taking two of my economics classes out here. I'm taking international economics
Cool.
and I'm taking intermediate financial accounting. So I'm actually taking classes with the local. So I get a break from, taking classes with my friends and go immediately classes with the local. So
Yeah.
I'm really integrated with the community, just talking to them in Spanish, learning about counting, the different principles from the States and here in Spain. I'm like, that's a little bit,
Yeah.
different for me, but it's also, I'm learning, I'm talking to the professor. I go to office hours with him. We, talking about the economy in Spain, economy in El Salvador, where we're talking about an economy in the U.S. So it's amazing just to elaborate and just become educated in different types of, finance here in Spain. So I'm really lucky, and the friends I made in my with the classes I have with locals have been awesome. Like they explained to me what Feria is, Semana Santa. They even showed me around during Semana Santa. Like Amrita was saying, like one of the locals showed me around the churches. So I'm really fortunate just to like hit the ground speed running with the becoming educated within the culture, but also within my business class as well.
Absolutely. It's so, so, so awesome to hear
Yeah,
that both of you, it sounds like you're enjoying your classes.
absolutely.
but also that, they're really different, different in experience. Maybe, who am I in class with? What types of classes am I taking? So ultimately, I want to congratulate y'all for stepping out of your comfort zone. Truly, it's one thing to know that you're going abroad, but right, the Spanish education system is different. So you guys are taking courses at the UPO, which is the Universidad de Pablo Alvide, and it's one of the partner institutions that we work with here. So there, I like to say that the UPO is kind of most similar to a U.S. college campus,
Yeah, for
right?
sure.
So you guys also have that
Yeah.
sense. Okay. Okay. It's like the most spacious, when you're taking courses at University of Seville, you're going into this like gothic buildings, like
Yeah.
these epic sort of facades with just you can see the age on these buildings,
Yeah.
right? And the UPO is really it's kind of like a U.S. college campus
Yeah.
feeling. So I'm glad that I say that, and this is coming off of conversations that I've had, but it's always good to be like, yeah, yeah, absolutely. Okay, so that's fabulous. And basically also, right, so studying abroad is a big mix of experiences. Sounds like you've been able to connect with locals via your classes. Sounds like also you've also been able to connect with locals and see a touch of the local experience. What is your favorite class out of these courses?
You go for it, Tony.
Oh, oh, that's tough. Can I pick two?
Sure.
Okay, yeah. I think Amruta mentioned our class, CIE, the interculture communication
Yeah,
class.
with Rafa.
Yeah, with Rafa. I
Yeah.
really like Rafa. He's always coming with passion every day to class and just, trying to tell us like the culture here. So that's just interesting to learn about. Like he really like gave us the massive tour about the churches during Semana Santa. Like
So
that's an unreal experience I would never I'm never gonna forget about
yeah.
that. And so just having that ability to be here during like the two most popular festivals here in Spain is once in a lifetime opportunity. So that's class is my favorite. And then I would like to say international economics class because I really got close with my professor, just talking about the economy, like I said, but also just getting to know him that because he's from I think Brazil, so
Mhm.
he's like here doing research but also teaching. So it's awesome to like have like professors all around the world that I get to have classes with.
Yeah, that sounds super. Both those classes sounds really interesting, especially
Yeah.
because I've definitely mentioned this on air before, but I am a big words and letters person, letras. My brain when it comes to math and science, I love and appreciate it, but it's outside of my personal comfort zone.
Yeah.
So it's really fabulous to also be thinking about it. Okay, right. So international economics, right? Yes, right. So really being able to also connect with international folks within your class, whether it be your professor, the folks who you're sitting next to, right, your peers. And what about you, Amrita?
Um, oh, that's like so like just like such a hard question because I genuinely love all of them. I don't know if this counts, but the Spanish class for the first 2 weeks,
Oh, so the intensive.
yes,
Ooh,
I
fall.
loved intensive. Like our teacher, Maribel, she was wonderful, so fun. We all literally sang like Despacito together just to practice our Spanish, but it's like fun being with your buddies every day
Yeah.
because at UPO, like everyone is kind of on their own schedule. So seeing everyone was so fun. And like she took us to go get churros and chocolate for the first time and walk around and take pictures. So that was actually so fun. And then I would say I'm taking a Spanish pop culture class.
Ooh.
So we examine like advertising, music, films. Super interesting because I had never really learned about Spanish history in general. In the US, they really just teach.
It's like if I feel like when we talk about like European history that we learn in the States, it's very like, okay, we go back to the French, Napoleon.
Exactly.
Which I think is also they do really focus on that here when we talk about the European
Sure.
local EU history. But it's true. Having grown up in the States, I feel like really didn't get exposed to a lot of the Spanish history in the
Like
way maybe we did
nothing.
others. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like so cool hearing about what was going on in Spain, like during World War II. Like
Yeah.
what
Absolutely.
role did they play? What role didn't they play? Like it's just there's a lot that I didn't know. So
Yeah.
I love that. But also like we watch super fun movies
Yeah.
and we listen to fun songs and talk about like the 70s in Spain, which is like
What a moment.
yeah, literally. And I'm
Qué
like,
época.
it's awesome. So I would say those two, I think.
Okay, fabulous. So interesting. I'm loving really also like the contrast in the types of classes, right? Also just super fabulous, super interesting. And thinking about also your experiences outside of the classroom, have you had the opportunity to participate in any CIE events or activities? And if you could maybe speak to one of the trips or experiences that you had locally or outside of Sevilla that you really enjoyed, and I don't know, just tell us a little bit about how it went.
Yeah. Well, I volunteer at a school here through CIE at
Fabulous.
Colegio Buen Pastor, and I love it. Like, I go every Tuesday for 5 hours, and it is the best part of my week. The kids all, like, run up to me when I come, and they're like, "Miss Ampruta, Miss Ampruta." I'm like, "Hi." And they give me, like, rainbow loom bracelets, like,
Oh, precious.
they are so cute, and it's just so fun seeing, like, the progress that they've made in terms of their English, but also I've learned so much from them, like, in terms of, like, Spanish, which is,
Yeah.
great on both ends, but they are just so appreciative and so kind and love I don't know. I love being there. And the 5 hours, actually, I thought it'd be so long, it goes by so fast.
Yeah.
I feel like I get there and I leave. And the teacher that I work with, she always buys me a coffee, like, she loves me and I love her, so that's great. But beyond that, I've done a couple of, like, the day trips. We went to Ronda
Yeah.
and then the Granada trip, and, oh, they were so fun. Like, it's nice to have structure and, like, really nice tour guides who know every single thing about the place we're going and have answers to all our crazy questions that we have. But I say Granada was my favorite
Okay.
because it was like the overnight and we just got to experience the city through the tours, but also in our own way, like in the afternoons. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that honestly, so glad that volunteering came up. I feel like in both of really getting to know you, right? Because we're really getting to know each other in this interview. I manage other programs. I haven't really had the chance to spend time with students from IBC as much. So I'm glad that this thread in both of your personal lives, like mentoring, volunteering, being active parts of the communities, it's really something you've been able to continue during your time here.
Yeah.
You know, I think this aspect of going to a local school and having the opportunity to build very sweet and right the reciprocal relationships, right? You're going to school and you're volunteering and you're getting to know these students, right? You're impacting also like what do these young folks know about America? What do they know about
Yeah.
Americans, right? So thinking also about like this kind of like ripple of presence and really when we're living here, we're getting to also like represent who we are and share where we're from and our values and really get to know these folks and kind of leaves a handprint,
Yeah.
it's beautiful. So thank you for sharing that. I'm really glad that came out as well. And Granada, oof, what a city. You
Truly.
relate, that's your favorite trip?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
tell us, why was it your favorite trip too?
I just think the overnight stay and visiting the Alhambra was a really cool experience.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's a monumental, historical, you know, monument to visit. And so having that experience just to be at, what were there, like 6 hours?
Yeah.
We were there just walking
big
and
tour.
walking. Yeah, I know,
It's a
but
big
it's
tour.
amazing because you really got to take time to really process what's going on
Yeah.
visually and with like learning the history behind it. So it was awesome. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I like that, free tapas too. It's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
Okay,
so
so
true.
important,
Yeah,
right?
very
That's
important. Yeah.
that's in Seville. You go out, you have to order a tapa, like right.
Yeah.
Nothing really comes with it with just ordering a drink here in Seville, but in Granada, yes.
Oh, it was great.
Yes, it is absolutely delicious. Also, I think in Andalusia we're very lucky. We have great gastronomy, but in Granada, I think it's hype. It really is. It's something that even I've been to Granada several times, and every time I'm like, okay, yes, I'm looking forward for this tapa with whatever I end up wanting, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
absolutely, and it's true. It's a really nice time to also bond. Right? It's a great opportunity to hang out with your friends. It's an
Yeah.
opportunity to also have the structured, right? The structured aspects of okay, we're going to on these awesome tours with these guides and then we have free time and we can kind of go and explore on our liking, and I think that combination hopefully makes everyone happy.
Yeah.
It really kind of all right, everyone's looking for different things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Things. Fabulous. Any other CIEE events or anything that you're like, oh, people need to know about this one, people should? If not, that's also okay, people explore on their own.
I've heard really good things about the wine tasting. Personally, I am
Oh,
doing it
yes.
next Monday,
Yeah.
so I'm very excited. But
Absolutely.
everyone has literally loved it so much.
Such a fun event.
It is.
One of our most popular classes. So y'all don't take any classes at the University of Seville, but University of Seville, they actually have like a wine tasting course.
that's
And it
fun.
happens to be, yes, it has two sections. It's usually very, very much requested. And it's just, I think in general, it's kind of, everyone's different, but it's really, we're in a good region for wine. So I think, having the opportunity to step into like an academic space of saying, okay, so like what does this mean? Right. So it's really interesting. I'm glad you're going to experience that. We had a bunch of spots open up the other week. So I'm glad you snagged one. They do fly fast. It's kind of wild. Okay. So thinking about our next point, which is basically what advice would you give to students who are going to come abroad, whether it's, like fall, spring, what should they know about CIEE? What should they know about Seville? What should they know about IBC?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah. I think for me is to be a sponge, soak it all in.
Mhm.
That's my biggest advice. It's going to be like immediately when you get here, it's going to be a little bit fast paced, but just try to enjoy the moment because, like we just said, time flies. We're living in
So
about like 30
fast.
days. And it's really sad.
It's
It's really
wild.
sad.
The day countdown has started.
Yeah. No, because my
Brutal.
mom's been counting down, so I blame it on her. I
You
blame
But I have to
it.
say, it's not a bad thing. It's good because you become aware also of kind
Yeah,
of
that's true.
what of your time, right? It's hard when we get comfortable. Sometimes we just take it. It's like, oh yeah, like I'll do that tomorrow. Allah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna do this next week. I have time. And at the end of the day, time flies.
So
So it's the countdown. I'm there's like I feel like a big debate. Pro countdown. It's like, oh, I don't even want to hear it. Don't tell me. I don't want to hear the number. But being aware and being able to make the most of everything, being a sponge, being able to like complete the cycle and be feeling comfortable about it is really important. So thank you for saying that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, I echo what Tony said. I think like take a shot in the dark, like
Mm,
experience things, like experience being nervous, experience
yeah.
being happy, experience being excited. And like the first day, I remember the first day I was so nervous. I felt like it was the first day of freshman year all over again of college where I'm like, oh my God, like I should say hi, I should talk to this person. But everyone is in the same boat,
Yeah.
like everyone's nervous, everyone's experiencing something new, whether they came with friends or not. Like, everyone's on their own journey. So be willing to get to know people and know their experiences in their life and then also experience like, the city together and experience the people and just all the opportunities that it has because there's so much that Sevilla has to offer, but also just like being abroad.
Hmm.
You can literally travel to a whole nother country in like an hour
Yeah.
and like which is crazy. So just like have fun,
Yeah.
and everyone says that, I swear. Like they're like time goes by, have fun, but truly, like I think about leaving in a month and I get so sad. And we're already planning like when everyone's coming out to Boulder for a
A
game day.
reunion.
Yeah. And like when we're coming back to Sevilla,
Oh,
like
that's lovely.
at some point because it just flew by.
Yeah.
I feel like it's been a dream, like literally a dream that I'm like, I have to wake up now and go home.
Yeah, I think this it's like a kind of phenomena where
Yeah.
it's like, okay, we're waiting for this big event, we're going on, we're getting ready, it's here. This aspect of like, wow, these nerves of a first day on a program, it's so true, it's so real, it's such a shared experience. And I think also it's kind of strange because you look around, you're like, everyone's fine, you're like, everyone, am I the most nervous here?
Yeah.
So I think that also it's just kind of like you blink and then you're like, okay, I'm settled. You blink again, you're like, yeah, midterm's just finished, I'm on spring break. You blink again and you're like, wow, like Fedia's here, or we're moving towards the end of the semester, and that's just tough to like to actually understand. You're like, what? So I think this idea of being a sponge, taking a shot in the dark, putting yourself out there, really, the more that you're open to everything, knowing yourself, right? Leading with your own like intuition and who you are as a person and your values, obviously at the front of things.
Yeah.
But yeah, you got to be open and right. It's like it's about this beautiful reciprocity where it's like I live in this community. I'm a part of doing these wonderful things. I study. I'm a student. I'm a resident, and you kind of move through these new, oftentimes maybe like what the heck, that's new, or oh, that's different, and kind of just spinning it into gold
Yeah.
and having belly laughs for there's no other way to kind of say it, when you're just like in pain from making such wonderful friendships, for spending such lovely times.
Yeah.
As you mentioned, we're in the spring semester right now, so these students are super super lovely and kind, that they're also joining us right in the beginning of the week of feria. So really, it's like that time of year where it's just there's a sense of alegría, there's a sense of happiness, there's a sense of beauty. And in terms of Seville, yeah, Seville's got a really, really broad offering of cultural events,
Yeah.
opportunities. It's a great hub to travel, right? We have some international flights. You can get to Madrid and then fly out from there, or Barcelona and fly out from there.
Yeah.
And it's good. It's good to get out of your comfort zone, whether it's locally and you're like, okay, now I feel settled. And I'm going to take a trip to another country that's an hour away, exactly as you said. It's super wild.
Yeah.
So just wonderful. And also kind of like this bittersweet moment where we're also ending end of the semester.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I think really anybody who's thinking about doing this program really has been able to listen to two wonderful students today who really just also doing totally different things in terms of like academics. And also y'all met during those 2 weeks of intensive,
Yeah.
right? Like it was very nice to see when Amrita walked into, she's like, "Hey, Tony," like it's like you can see.
I saw him like 3 hours ago.
Exactly. There you go. So it's like these are the things. It's like you might not even be taking similar classes, but the
Yeah.
bonding over the 2 week intensive, the bonding over the CIE trips. And sometimes you find yourself doing a podcast together,
Well, and it's so funny because Tony and I are interning together in San Francisco this summer. So,
Oh, wow.
like, such a small world, but
So
full
you're
circle.
tearing it up here in Seville, or you're just going to keep tearing it up in SF?
Exactly.
In San Fran. Oh, that's amazing. Congrats.
Thank
Also, it's very
you.
exciting. It's very exciting. You're going from Sevilla to San Francisco. You got a thing for S's.
Oh, yeah. Seems like it.
That's fabulous, though. So yeah, so I want to again thank you so much for your time today. It's been lovely getting to know you a bit more, and that's kind of a wrap on our episode today. Yeah,
Thank you, yeah.
absolutely, and I'll see you around in the center. Absolutely, I hope so. We always try to facilitate some sort of farewell, so hopefully I'll see you there. So that wraps us up today. So before signing off, I'd love to give another special thank you to Amruta and Antonio. This episode was made possible with the help of Shay Carlberg and Nicholas Aguirre-Fino, Sergio Jimenez, and our helpers Ivan and Mauro. Thank you to CIEE Corporate for the equipment and distribution of this podcast. Lastly, thank you to the listeners and for making this possible. Until next time, adios.
Adios.
Adios.